The Stardust Chronicles, adventures beyond the nebula in a faraway corner of the universe. Where the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds on a velvet sky, there existed a hidden realm known only to those brave enough to venture beyond the nebula. This was a place where time bent and space danced to the rhythm of cosmic winds. A place of endless adventure and untold mysteries. Our story begins with Lyra, a young stargazer who had always dreamt of something more. Living on the peaceful moon of Arixa, she spent her days mapping constellations, studying celestial bodies, and listening to stories from the elders about the ancient civilization known as the Starlighters Travelers, who had once journeyed beyond the nebula and mapped the very edge of the universe. But the nebula had always been forbidden to approach. No one knew exactly why, but the elders said it was too dangerous, a place where the fabric of reality itself could unravel. Yet Lyra's curiosity was insatiable. She was determined to see for herself what lay beyond the thick fog of the nebula. One night, under a sky full of sparkling stars, Lyra was walking by the observatory when she heard a soft hummer sound that seemed to come from the very stars themselves. Following the mysterious sound, she found herself at the base of an ancient, forgotten tower that had once belonged to the Starlighters. There, amidst the overgrown vines and weathered stone, stood a shipknoll, not just any ship, but a vessel made of shimmering stardust, with sails that sparkled as if woven from the night sky itself. Before she could take another step, a voice called out from the shadows. Curiosity always leads to more than we bargained for. Out of the darkness stepped a figure, tall and cloaked in silver armor, his face hidden beneath a translucent visor. His name was Orion, a Starlighter, and he had been waiting for someone like Lyra to come. "The nebula calls to you," he said, his voice like the distant echoes of forgotten constellations. "But it is not a journey one takes lightly. Are you prepared to venture where few have returned from?" Lyra, heart pounding with both fear and excitement, nodded. "I am." Orion smiled beneath his visor, a knowing glint in his eyes. "Then prepare yourself, young one. For once we cross the nebula, there is no turning back." With that, they boarded the ship their Australis, a craft of ancient technology fueled by stardust, and began their journey. As they sailed through the void, the nebula loomed closer, a swirling mass of colors that seemed to shift and change before their eyes. It was a vast ocean of cosmic gas, thick with mystery, and it was said to be filled with unknown dangers. As they crossed into the nebula, the ship's sails caught a strange, magnetic force, pulling them deeper into the heart of the storm. Stars flickered out and strange creatures of light and shadow swirled around them, whispering in languages older than the universe itself. The further they sailed, the more distorted reality became distorted shapes. Mirages of lost cities, and time loops where moments stretched into eternity. They encountered strange phenomena, including a planet that was entirely made of crystalline structures, where the inhabitants communicated through musical vibrations. Lyra and Orion navigated their way through this shimmering landscape, befriending the inhabitants and learning of an ancient secret buried deep within the nebula. The nebula was not just a physical place, it was a living entity, a sentient force that fed on memories and emotions. The deeper one ventured, the more the nebula could manipulate the mind, feeding off their fears, their desires, and their regrets. As Lyra and Orion pressed forward, they began to face their own inner demons, confronting the darkest corners of their past. For Lyra, it was her fear of failure, of not being good enough, of not measuring up to the legacy of the Starlighters. She was forced to relive moments from her childhood, standing in the shadow of her parents' expectations, feeling small and insignificant. It was only when she embraced her own worth that she was able to break free of the nebula-esque grip. Orion, too, was haunted by his past, by the loss of his fellow Starlighters, and the failure of their mission. He had once been part of a grand council of explorers who had charted the universe, but their ship had been lost in the nebula, and he had never been able to let go of the guilt. Together, they faced these trials, growing stronger with each challenge. But their greatest test was yet to come. In the heart of the nebula, they discovered the Starlight Core, a massive crystal at the center of the nebula's swirling heart. It was the source of the nebula's power, a cosmic energy that had been trapped for eons. To unlock its true potential and save the universe from collapsing under the weight of its own gravity, they needed to release the core's energy. But the nebula wasn't ready to let them go. A colossal shadow emerged from the heart of the storm, a dark entity known as the Eclipse, an ancient guardian who had sworn to protect the core at any cost. The battle that ensued was unlike anything Lyra had ever imagined. Stars exploded, the fabric of time bent and twisted, and the very essence of the nebula seemed to fight against them. It was a fight not just for their lives, but for the very future of the universe. Lyra and Orion fought side by side, their courage and determination rising with the power of the nebula itself. In the final moments of their struggle, Lyra unlocked the power of the starlight core, releasing a burst of pure energy that consumed the eclipse and restored balance to the nebula. As the storm subsided and the stars began to settle into their rightful places, Lyra stood at the helm of the Australis, gazing out at the vast, peaceful cosmos. The nebula had been tamed, but their journey was far from over. There were still mysteries to unravel, new worlds to explore, and countless adventures waiting beyond the stars. Lyra smiled, her heart alight with the knowledge that the universe was vast, and she was only just beginning to understand its secrets. End.